Togashi has just changed Hunter x Hunter forever because he has revealed the new strongest Nen user in the Succession War. Yup, he is about to become stronger than even 4th Prince Tserriednich as they are about to face off against each other. I am talking about 1st Prince Benjamin, who after death will become a Nen God, fueled by the most broken post-mortem Nen of the Kakin Empire itself. Not only winning the Succession War, but destroying Beyond Netero's dark continent plan. However, that's not all, because this Benjamin reveal also confirms that 4th Prince is indeed Isaac Netero's grandson and Beyond Netero's son. And speaking of Beyond, bro stopped being a hunter and has put on some glasses to read boxes full of legal documents. That's how bro is gonna counter the Nen God, I guess. Okay, on a serious note, Beyond Netero got a visit from the Kakin Supreme Magistrate, Cleopatra. To save you all some time from reading this monstrosity of a panel, Beyond is clear of all lawsuits related to the V5 regarding his big announcement of the Dark Continent to the public. The V5 also rejected his 1,047 lawsuits against the Kakin Empire for their human rights violations. And that's what he is busy doing in the cell, trying to figure out why all the lawsuits got dropped. This serves as a distraction to keep the Kakin judicial system and the international media focused on Kakin's many violations, all to make sure his real plans regarding the Dark Continent go without a hitch. Plus, he needed to read the documents and gauge the magistrate's reactions to confirm that everything was moving accordingly. Because you guys need to understand that the judicial side of Kakin are their own entity with their own hidden agenda. Furthermore, remember how dangerous the Dark Continent is, right? And with Beyond having a prince as a child, his ultimate goal with the Succession War is likely to steal the massive post-mortem Nen and guardian beasts of Kakin to aid in the Dark Continent expedition against the various calamities there. Whatever Beyond is planning, he will make his move soon, just like every other player during Hulkenberg's funeral. However, things aren't going to be as easy now though because of one man. 1st Prince Benjamin. Benjamin got hit by the TSK-17 virus and only has 10 hours left to live, forcing him to declare martial law with the lie that Tserriednich and Hulkenberg snuck in a chemical weapon of mass destruction. In reality, he is doing this to force the Kakin government to name his illegitimate child the new king, who he cares about a lot. But Togashi just revealed that this barely scratches the surface of Benjamin's ingenious plan for ultimate power. 30 minutes before martial law is enacted, Hulkenberg is being laid to rest with the 3 other princes that dropped dead: 12th Prince Momose, 8th Prince Salesale, and 10th Prince Kacho. However, King Nasubi notices that Hulkenberg's soul has not left this world, which means his son is still fighting and is in the Succession War, which is a very sneaky confirmation laid out by Togashi, as your body's death doesn't disqualify you from the Succession War. Your soul also needs to perish, which makes me wonder if another soul entered a prince's body and took control, would they now be part of the Succession War too? Because this would certainly explain a way for Beyond to take power. Whichever prince wins, Beyond could transmigrate himself within them like Hulkenberg and be king. Meanwhile, Hulkenberg is changing his plans. While he's in the body of Benjamin's closest aide Balsamilko, Hulk knows right away that if they ever meet face to face, Benjamin would suss him out instantly just from his behavior alone. But Benjamin is already 2 steps ahead of his little brother because he has the entire place surrounded. He already knows about Hulkenberg's Nen ability to switch bodies based on what happened to his men. But before Benjamin could make a move, all of a sudden he feels off. Turns out he already got the virus. But Balsamilko, or rather Hulkenberg, never had the chance to attack Benjamin. So who is this 3rd player? Well, there was only one person who could bypass the security checks related to procuring TSK-17 and smuggle it inside the ship. The one person whose authority is the highest, his own mother. Yup, first Queen Unma finally picked a favorite son out of her 3, and it was the good boy Hulkenberg. We could honestly see this coming a mile away. Like, when the twist of their relationship was revealed in chapter 403, there was a hint of favoritism in her voice. So yes, Unma had someone smuggle the virus to give it to a traitor, and it was Furykov, Beyond Netero's son. This guy was cocky, but arguably the most loyal outside of Balsamilko for Benjamin's faction. You could see that devotion when he arrested second Prince Camilla for using a gun and broke her arm to stop her from resisting, which made Camilla threaten to kill his whole family, but Furykov says that Benjamin was his only family. Sounds noble, right? Well, one tiny detail Togashi left here was that when Furykov arrested Camilla, Furykov was with Wolfie, Unma's bodyguard sent to spy on other princes, and was ordered by Benjamin to become his own bodyguard. Wolfie is one little insignificant clue to Furykov's true loyalties. That's how big brain Togashi is making this arc, bro. This is the type of detail you only figure out when you start looking at those bodyguard charts. So hit that like button, because man, the amount of time I've spent like just thinking about the succession war for these videos. This is a whole ass Game of Thrones political madness going on here. Coming back to the chapter, why would a guy who lives only to serve Benjamin want to end his life? Well, Furykov's goal was not to actually kill Benjamin, but to sabotage first Queen Unma, Hulkenberg's victory, and his father, Beyond Netero's plans. Furykov explains that Beyond's curse that is triggered upon his death will kill Benjamin instantly. Then we get the shocking reveal, which is another hint that fourth prince is a Beyond baby. Furykov says that Unma already knew about Beyond's plans and curses from the start. Yup, Benjamin, Tserriednich, and Hulkenberg's mother knew about Beyond's Nen curses. This makes Unma the only member of the Kakin royalty outside of Oito to know about his plans to win the war, which makes a lot of sense if we think about it. 30 years ago is when the Kakin Empire went through the Silent Revolution, aided by Beyond Netero. Now, I believe that after Isaac forbid Beyond from going to the Dark Continent nearly half a century ago, he hatched a decades-long plan to get rid of his father and game out the most surefire way to take humanity to the next level and venture into the Dark Continent. Considering that the oldest of the Kakin princes, Benjamin, looks to be around his early to mid-30s, King Nasubi and Unma married around the same time the nation went through its transformation 36 years ago with the revolution. Beyond Netero must have participated in the last succession war as King Nasubi's bodyguard, or rather engineered the king's victory. From the moment of Nasubi's victory, he was already thinking about the next war and how to take the Seed-Urn's post-mortem Nen for himself. We gather this from the cursed children all being around the same ages as the Kakin princes. Beyond must have also raised up Unma around this time and had an affair with the queen to give birth to fourth Prince Tserriednich. Maybe there is a hidden curse embedded within Beyond's prince baby, which has the condition to activate once they win the war. And then Beyond takes over that prince, and boom, he becomes a Nen God. Furthermore, Unma wants Benjamin dead, and she favors Hulkenberg. Since birth, she loved Hulkenberg the most, as Unma gave him to second Queen Dwarzel so he wouldn't be targeted by Benjamin or Tserriednich. But there is no mention of what Unma thinks of Tserriednich. So let's use our balls deep observation then here. Hulkenberg really is Unma and King Nasubi's legitimate son, and his noble ambitions and popularity make him the ideal king of Kakin. While everyone, even his own mother, views Benjamin as a dictator who will destroy the world. However, low-key, the last few chapters, the more development Benjamin has gotten, I'm starting to enjoy Benjamin. He really cares about his men, his family. I feel like he truly cares about the world and Kakin and the future. Anyway, Anyways, the good king that everyone sees though is Hulkenberg. Even Nasubi willingly allowed Hulkenberg to get a shot at killing him, all to test his resolve and prepare his son to be a natural leader. With all these factors added up, it's very clear that this means one thing. Tserriednich is Beyond Netero's son. All the clues were right there. The Nen training, chapter 411, where he looks like a saint, like Togashi made him the cover on purpose. Because if we go back to chapter 311, you see Isaac Netero making a similar religious pose behind the poor man's rose, signifying a subverted take on Buddhism, just as the fourth prince's imagery was a subverted depiction of Catholicism. The two are that closely related. We are inching towards the big reveal, and Togashi is making it clear this late in the game that the final boss is Tserriednich. But this chapter is telling us that there is only one person who can stop Beyond Netero and the fourth prince's plans for the Dark Continent's domination: Benjamin. Unma forced Furykov to make a choice: kill Benjamin within 48 hours or let Beyond kill Furykov first with the curse. But Furykov wasn't scared for his life. Beyond's curse actually erases the abilities of a prince's guardian spirit beast, and since Furykov loves Benjamin so much, he wanted to avoid that happening. The only way Furykov can be rid of Beyond's curse is a curse rebound. That is, if Benjamin dies before Furykov, it rebounds back to Furykov. But Benjamin's guardian spirit beast has the power to fuse with Benjamin's mind, making him an immortal god. This explains why Balsamilko, much earlier in the arc, said that Benjamin's guardian spirit beast is worthy of the next Kakin king. Not only can this beast dispel low-level curse spirits that surrounded Fugetsu, it has the power to make him live forever, under the condition that his body would die. And to guarantee the success of this plan, Furykov uses his Nen ability, Combo Master, a specialist ability that allows him to decipher a Nen power to create combat gear to either destroy his target's ability or buff it, but he needs time to stay close to this target, and within that time he cannot use his Hatsu. Also, another detail is that fourth prince is also a specialist, just like Furykov, who is a Beyond baby. In this case, Furykov was reading Benjamin's guardian spirit beast to allow the guardian spirit beast's power to fuse with Benjamin's baton and for him to fully understand his own beast's ability, so that when he dies, Benjamin will live on inside of his beast and he won't lose all the Nen powers he has gained from the sacrifices of his men. One of the abilities Benjamin Baton absorbed was Shikaku's Cult Set, which allows the user to convert the enemy's Nen ability into a card. And while Shikaku failed to steal Hulkenberg's swapping arrow, Benjamin will not fail next time. If he meets Hulkenberg, Tserriednich, or any of the other princes, he could gobble up their own guardian spirit beasts, which could potentially break the succession war altogether. Don't forget, he also has Furykov's Combo Master to decipher Nen abilities and create the means to destroy them. Benjamin's potential is endless now because of all of his minions' abilities, especially when we consider how the princes have a specific type to focus on. Camilla's unit has curse users, but Benjamin's army, the de facto head of the Kakin military, is the ultimate counter to Nen abilities in general. This dude is about to be broken Beyond Netero, and it's insane to think about, okay? Because a rando like Furykov outsmarted Beyond Netero. Without the succession war within his control, he would lose access to the god Nen he needed for the Dark Continent trip. Benjamin would monopolize that power without all the convoluted vows and limitations of the succession war that Beyond Netero was banking on to win this game. Remember, he is a lawyer. Put on his glasses. If Benjamin was given the most overpowered guardian spirit beast, and that beast would fuse to his Benjamin Baton, which has the powers of his Nen and 2 trump cards that can seal away guardian spirit beasts, Benjamin's plan will completely replace the seed urn ceremony. Even if Benjamin dies, as long as he kills every other prince, he will rule Kakin forever beyond the limits of royalty or human lifespan. His child will be the winner as intended and bear Benjamin as his guardian spirit beast, a father who will forever watch over his child, his future grandchildren, and gain the power of a true Nen God. Also, check out how Benjamin talks about the succession war. He says a centuries-long sacred war to painstakingly create the god who will unite the world under Kakin because these are similar words used by Merriam himself when talking about how human and chimera and evolution all led to his birth. But Merriam was just the setup. Benjamin is the fulfillment of Merriam's destiny. Merriam is East Gortonese for the light that illuminates all. Benjamin in Hebrew is son of the right hand, or son of my old age, a fitting name for the youngest son, but Hunter x Hunter is a story of inversion, and in this case, Benjamin is the eldest son and he will become his child's guardian spirit beast, subverting the father-son dynamic that his name promises. Now, we finally return to the present day at 2:15 p.m., where Benjamin declares a special martial law. He justifies this extreme measure, saying that 4th Prince Tserriednich and 9th Prince Hulkenberg have conspired together to deploy a weapon of mass destruction that would kill everyone in the Black Whale. Of course, all of this is a lie, but people would buy it. They would be confused about their feelings regarding the recently deceased Hulkenberg, who was arguably the most beloved Kakin prince worldwide, while at the same time, this act would restrain the movements of everyone on the boat, including the princes. However, Benjamin tells his men not to lay their hands on the Hunter Association. It is clear he does not want outsider interference, so he's avoiding any provocation, or he knows he is 100% cooked if he fights all the Zodiacs head on, and we hope he does, because we can finally see how OP they are and what made them worthy sparring partners for Isaac Netero. Because right now, looking at Benjamin's evolution and 4th Prince, the entire Hunter Association is on fraud watch this whole arc. Benjamin also wants to make sure his men keep the true power of his guardian spirit beast a secret from the first Queen Unma's faction, so Hulkenberg or 4th Prince do not get in the way. In his order, Benjamin tells the soldiers they should not be brutal when capturing the princes. Make it look like they are under protective custody, which in reality will bring them all together for a royal massacre. He wants 6 princes, not including Fugetsu and Hulkenberg, in room 1001 by 2:30 p.m. One issue is that 13th Prince Mariam is hidden in a Nen dimension thanks to the guardian spirit beast, which makes a protective barrier to transport anyone who would try to get close to the prince. But it is possible that news of the special martial law could reach him, since phone calls can be made in his room. Even then, if the kid does not show up, he will send Rihan to use his Predator Nen ability to cancel Mariam's guardian spirit beast, forcing the kid into the room along with the other princes. If Rihan dies, Benjamin gets a 3rd Nen stealing power. All the princes are cooked for sure. We have 15 minutes before that happens, and in that time, Benjamin has to spy on 2 problem princes, Camilla and Tserriednich. Benjamin uses Muse's secret window, a Nen ability that lets him spy on people using different types of Nen birds. Benjamin first peeps on his sister Camilla's post-breakfast massage, meaning bro was probably also feeling that massage. Benjamin intends to overuse secret windows so it can evolve to the point where he can rewind and view the exact footage Muse was watching right up until the moment he died to figure out the full extent of Camilla's powers. So far, he knows Camilla is a counter type and that if she's killed, her post-mortem Nen activates, stealing the life energy of her assailant and resurrect herself, making her pretty much unkillable unless Benjamin can use any of his 2 Nen stealing abilities to slurp the guardian spirit beast out of her. One major issue is that Benjamin has to deal with the have-not assassin Moswanda, who could curse him and ruin his plans. As for Tserriednich, Benjamin originally wanted to torture his brother limb from limb, but since he is dying, he needs to kill him fast, and he should. Parallel Future is way too broken for a prolonged fight. Predicting and basically controlling the next 10 seconds of any given moment will leave Benjamin utterly helpless and could easily take him out before bro gets a chance to become a Nen God. Not to mention, Tserriednich's guardian spirit beast has not even shown off all of its powers yet. So far, the guardian spirit beast could turn potential traitors into pawns through fear of death, or even into something inhuman, but we have not seen that happen yet. If that thing could touch Benjamin, maybe Tserriednich can obtain this godlike power for himself. Imagine an immortal Tserriednich, bruh. The world is doomed. Also, don't forget Hulkenberg. He is one body swap away from ruling the world as a benevolent dictator. Basically, Benjamin has the most edge out of everyone in the war right now, but he has to take out the competition and reset the whole succession war quickly in the next few hours. Regardless, all these parties will be forced to meet in 15 minutes. However, there is one wild card the first prince did not count on: CHROLLO Lucifer. He is looking for a Nen user using Love Dial 6700, which is a Nen ability that works like online dating, and he says his target could be in the upper tiers of the Black Whale. I previously theorized that his target could be Kurapika or Morena or even 4th Prince due to their compatibility and abilities. But recent events seem to indicate that the ideal partner CHROLLO is looking for is someone who is basically about to be born today, and that person might be 1st Prince Benjamin. In a few hours, Benjamin will die and be reborn as a Nen God that will replace the cedar, which happens to be one of the 3 sacred treasures CHROLLO needs to take Skill Hunter to the next level. So in a way, Benjamin fulfills both conditions at once: a Nen user compatible with CHROLLO and a sacred treasure. Because without that, my boy is getting packed up by post-mortem Nen Hisoka with bungee gum. Thank you so much for watching this Hunter x Hunter chapter breakdown. Man, every time I cover Hunter x Hunter, my brain needs help, man. Thank you so much for the support on the last Hunter x Hunter chapter review. Anyway, I'll see you guys next chapter. Go watch my Beyond Netero theory video from like 2 years ago where I break down his like entire plan regarding the Dark Continent and what he did 36 years ago during the Silent Revolution. Bye bye.